Yeah, it was probably the best game of hockey I've ever watched in my life.
It was an amazing game from start to
Really
finish.
hard fought from both sides. You can say what you want about the refs and how the game played out. You can say what you want about this. It's not the right format because it's 3-on-3 and not 5-on-5. But at the end of the day, that's the hand we're dealt.
That's the Olympics for
That's the
you.
game. How's it going, everybody? The time is finally here. We are one day out from the Olympic gold medal, the coveted gold. Who is going to get silver? Who is going to get gold? Bronze is already decided. I mean, the Olympics has been amazing.
The Olympics have been elite. I mean, like, we obviously knew that, this matchup was gonna happen.
But it was dicey. It
Looking at the
almost didn't happen.
quarterfinals and semifinals game, it was interesting. It came down to the wire for a lot of the games.
It almost didn't happen.
It didn't.
You know, we started. I mean, we can pick up from where we ended last week. So last week we filmed the episode right before the France game, and obviously Canada won that very convincingly.
Loadout, friends.
The knockout stages of the tournament went pretty exactly how you would have expected.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like, it was unfortunate to see some of the teams get put where they were. I think Sweden could have had a better chance of making it to that bronze if they didn't end up playing the US
In the quarters, but
but
that the luck of the draw. That's why you have to play well
yeah, it's what
in the group
happens when you
stage.
lose those games in the group stage. And
Yeah,
um
exactly. That's kind of what happens. You know what I mean?
these quarterfinals and semifinals were amazing to watch. I think every single game was, at least most of the games were pretty entertaining, if not all of them. Starting off with the quarterfinals, there
No, no.
was
First off, we had the
oh
play-in
yeah,
tournament.
of course, yeah, the play-in.
Well, you had Sweden, Latvia. Obviously, Sweden took that one. Czechia, Denmark was very
That
close,
was a good game.
and I know that the Czech coach ripped into them after that game because of how close it was. And obviously, Germany won that one, and then Switzerland and Italy played, and obviously the Swiss took that one. And then we moved on to the quarters, which was the day after.
Honestly, it's like a huge advantage for all the teams that got a bye just to get the extra rest. I think was like very
Oh,
important.
for sure, 100%.
You saw most of the teams that did get a bye, they ended up winning the game.
Yeah, and actually, every team that got a bye
Yeah.
ended up winning the game. But in the morning, it was first Slovakia, Germany, which ended 6-2, which I was a little bit surprised by, to be honest. I think I could have seen Germany making a little bit more noise than they did
Uh,
eventually make in the tournament.
I would agree. I think, Slovakia's played really well in the group stage and through the quarterfinals as well. I don't know. I don't think Germany was ready for them, and obviously they don't have as much talent as Slovakia does either.
I think that's debatable.
Besides, like, Draisaitl and Stutzla and some other NHL players.
Yeah, I think that German team is good. I
Yeah.
think the Slovakian goaltender, if I might add, played an amazing tournament
Yeah.
and should be very proud of the performance that he's had. And, I think it's really tough to go against, NHLers when you've been used to playing against Swiss leaguers or KHLers.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a different level. But anyways, Canada got into it with Czechia, and for the first time in the tournament, they were losing. Actually, the first time since 2010 at the Olympics that NHLers have been losing for Canada,
Yeah,
which
and
is kind of crazy.
honestly, that game was so stressful. Like,
It was very close.
you talk about, like, the amount of stress that I think the whole nation, like, even, like, McDavid, said, not after this game, but after the semifinal game, he's like, "We're putting our country through it," like, these games should not be this close. Like, I understand Czechia's a good team, they put the pressure on us, they put a good amount of shots on net, and some of their goals were really
Yeah, the
nice.
David Pastrnak on the power play was a thing of beauty. Tucked it short side slapper.
Yeah. And,
Wow.
but, some people will say, like, "Oh, they had 8 players on the ice at one time," but they still did a very good job of keeping us, at bay during the game, and,
Yeah, and Dostal played absolutely lights out.
he did.
Absolutely lights out. And I'll tip my cap to Binner as well because he definitely came up big when we needed him to.
There was, like, 2 very big saves, one at the end of the game and one in overtime that were huge.
100%. And I think you look at kind of where that, you know, where that mentality of starting Thompson or Binner comes in, and Binner was the clear choice. I think he's
I
always been.
I think, a lot of people doubted Binner going into the Olympics because of the season he's had in the NHL and how he's basically one of the worst goaltenders in the league, like, one of the worst starters, but, yeah, he's played an amazing tournament as well.
Yeah, and then, shortly after, the Canada-Czech game started, we had Finland-Switzerland, which was also, a very tight game.
Huge, huge comeback by
Almo uh,
Finland's.
almost an upset, to be honest, 'cause, Switzerland was leading 2-0, probably with 10 minutes left in the game,
Yeah, something like that.
and then Aho got on the board, and then I think it was Heiskanen?
I
It
believe
was
so.
Heiskanen who got them back into contention with the 6-on-5 goal, tied it up, and then Artturi Lehkonen,
Yeah.
the Florida Panther himself, all alone. It was top cheese. Absolutely nasty, nasty goal.
I think there's, like, some irony behind, that game and the semifinal game, but I'll get into that after, we talk about the final game.
And then the final game of the day, which, to be honest, I have been feeling. I'm Canadian, but I've been feeling bad for the U.S. because they've had to play every single tournament game at 9 p.m. local time.
They don't have to anymore.
They will be playing tomorrow's game a lot earlier, I think. I wanna say, it's 5 a.m. PT, which is 2 p.m. in Milan.
Yeah.
So, a lot different. I think that really messes up your vibes, kinda like playing a matinee when you've been playing it, like, basically when you're going to bed.
Well, hopefully that's a good thing, you know?
But, yeah, no, this was, I think that the toughest game that the US has played so far.
Yeah, I think
They found themselves in a little bit of trouble. They were pretty dominant throughout the game.
Markstrom played really well as well.
He did.
Some
It
good
was
saves.
it was a good choice to go with Markstrom. He had 38 saves, 38 for 40. Um, the US were just leading 1-0 throughout the most of the game, and then when Sweden pulled for the extra man, Zibanejad came in clutch for his nation and tied it up, but it wasn't enough. Throughout the whole of OT, the US was pressing, and eventually Quinn Hughes came down the pipe and sniped it to send them to the semifinal.
But yeah, moving on to the semifinal games, there was obviously the US game. The Canada game was first in the morning,
Mhm.
which was the reason I think there's a little bit of irony behind the Finland game and Canada game was Finland was up 2-0 in that game, and then Canada scored 3 straight. The same thing that Finland did to win in the
Yeah.
quarterfinals. So, like, obviously this one was a little bit of a nail biter as well
I don't think it was as much of a nail biter as the
as the
Czech
Czech
game.
game.
The
Yeah,
the reason I say this, and you might disagree with me, but the Czech game didn't feel like they were in control
it did not.
for parts of the game. For parts of the game, sure, yeah, they were in control. They were the charge, and they were on the offensive, pushing and trying to break Dostal. But for this Finnish game, even Rantanen said it himself today when he was interviewed about it. They were in the offensive zone so much, and I can't get the offensive zone times because the Olympic Committee doesn't track it, but they're in the offensive zone so much that Finland didn't even have an opportunity to go on the offensive. And Jordan Binnington saw so little shots that when he did, it was, obviously you're scared because he has to make those saves, but he saw 17 shots.
Which is not very many, and, like, the chances that they did score on, there was obviously that one on the power play with Rantanen, which was just a really fast shot off the draw, and then the other one was the shorthanded goal, which was just a breakaway by Eric Haula.
Exactly.
So, like, 2, like, chances that, I don't think were entirely Benner's fault. I think, like, a lot of it was on the defense, but, I don't think it was too much of a nail biter as the Czechia game, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we moved to today. Today was the bronze medal match
Yeah.
for the Olympics, and as to be expected, to be honest.
Oh, just before, the US beat Slovakia in that,
Yeah,
semifinal game. It was
easily.
yeah, 6-2.
It
Not much
was,
to talk about. It was a clinic of just shots and scoring.
yeah. Um, but yeah, that takes us to the bronze medal game today, which was Slovakia versus Finland. And to be honest, no surprise with Finland taking the bronze. I don't know much more to say. Like, Slovakia had a nice run. It's just really hard to compete with bigger teams that have much greater talent.
Yeah, I think, like, Especially, I don't know if this makes sense, but teams step up that much more when you're going home, like, I think, like, Slovakia, I'm not saying they had it easy in the group stage, obviously, like, Sweden and Finland wanted to win, but I think, like, it kinda showed how much of a how the difference in having NHL players, having different talent, having decent goaltending
And
a little different.
I'm pretty sure that, Slovakia lost to or sorry, they beat Sweden. Or sorry, not Sweden, but Finland.
Yeah,
And so I'm sure that this win to take the bronze, they took it a little bit personally.
yeah, I'm
You know,
sure they did.
they came in, they're like, "Oh, you guys shocked us," you know? "You guys put on a little bit of performance, your goalie played lights out," and but today was the opposite. It was a clinic,
Yeah,
to
it
say the
was.
least. Uh,
But, yeah, that was all for men's hockey, and then obviously there's the game tomorrow. But moving on to the women's game, that was unfortunate. I think it was honestly pretty, like, I don't wanna hate on it, but in my opinion, it was a pretty boring game. It was a 1-0 game.
I don't think it was a boring game.
Like,
I think there was end-to-end action. Yeah, the score they didn't run up the score. Anne-Marie Desbiens played amazing.
sure, that's
The
the
Canadian
goaltender?
the Canadian goalie,
Yeah.
yeah. And, she did her job, to be honest. There was things that were said and thoughts about her during the tournament. She isn't our number 1 goalie, and, this is the last opportunity for this group, this MPP group, to the core to go to the Olympics together because let's be honest, in 4 years, Team Canada has to make a decision to go with a younger group
Yeah.
because they aren't gonna keep up with the likes of the States. I was talking to some people and they said, "We saw how much faster the States was moving." The women who are playing on that
Yeah, it
stateside
was like
team.
it was like veteran versus, like, younger talent. Obviously, there was some very young talent on the Canadian team as well,
Yeah,
like,
there was a couple young people, but the average age was 35.
so, like, yeah, like, obviously, that's not exactly
The
what.
average age of the American team was 25.
Yeah.
And to be honest, eventually you know, it showed. Go deep into a 3-on-3 overtime where there's a lot more ice and you have to push a little harder and you have to have a little bit more gas in the tank, and I feel like the young guys got that, and I'm really surprised that Canada kept up with the US as long as they did and they didn't get blown out. It was a very close game, but I think the US has shown that the last few years, especially I don't know if you watched the rivalry series,
No.
The US Canadian rivalry series, but they won that as well. They've shown for the last few years that they've been the top nation in women's hockey. Um, like Hockey Canada needs to go back and say, we made some mistakes in choosing people for this roster. There were some people, some younger people who deserve to be here, who would have made this roster better, who would have made us been able to compete with the likes of the US. That's something that you just have to live with.
Yeah, and, it's, like, unfortunate that, they have to end off on a loss there, but, taking home silver is still a big thing, like, and it's not like they didn't put up a fight either,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
looking back in the group stage where they played the US, it was 5 nothing, and, bringing back your captain, Marie-Philippe Poulin, helped a lot.
For sure.
But, yeah, moving on to Canada's medal tally as well, I believe they're sitting in, 11th place
11th, yeah.
now?
Hopefully 10th after tomorrow's gold medal win.
Yeah, but with 5 gold, 6 silver, 9 bronze, 20 total medals, and 1 gold won today, as well as, the silver from Canada the other
And
day.
a bronze today.
Yeah.
A bronze,
Um,
a silver, and a gold today, actually.
okay.
Yeah,
Um,
bro, I don't Ishan had, something to do in the morning, and then he came back home and he went to sleep, and that's probably the biggest mistake he did because I've never seen a curling match so electric.
just like a little side note, in the last, I watched the 10th
The
the
10th
10th
end,
end of that one. That it was honestly very good. I liked
I
watching it.
watched from the 3rd end to the 10th end. I don't think I've ever been more of a fan of curling after this Winter Olympics. I
I
I
think
wanna go curling now.
I think for me, like, I would love to go curling, like, maybe try it once, but it's a 4-year, thing for me where I get invested as much as possible. but I don't think it's like a I don't know, are there any curling leagues that you could watch?
There is some curling. I
But
don't think I'd be
I don't
that
think I would go out of
invested.
my way to watch
I
those.
think it's yeah, I think it's a 4.
Yeah.
But I think next Olympics, I'll definitely be keeping a more watchful eye on
Yeah.
curling as a whole. No, but then there's another event that I watched today, which was the mass start for speed skating. It's the only event that they do together on the long track. It's really cool to watch, actually. It's kinda like what the commentators are describing it as was the NASCAR of speed skating. So they
Oh,
do like
interesting.
I think they do 15 of the
Yeah.
long track, which is 400 meters, and they basically just all start off slow and in a line, and they go around this track, and then somebody makes a move, and people react to that, and they keep going. In the men's, so in the female, and the women's, Canada won silver, but in the men's, there was no Canadian, or there was one Canadian. He did not finish on the podium, but there's 2 guys during the race that just like left the pack, and they just like took off,
Yeah.
and they were probably half a lap, 3/4 of a lap ahead of the pack, and nobody actually caught them, and
Interesting.
they finished gold, silver.
I see. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen this before, but there's, like, this story
Oh,
about,
the
like,
speed skating clip?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
the
the
Chinese
Chinese, yeah,
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 she, like, lapped everyone and then came back and
and then everybody thought that it was what they call the bell the last lap, the bell lap, so everybody thought the bell lap was for them, but it was actually their second last lap, and it was her last lap,
yeah,
and she just came through with, just jogging, to be
yeah.
honest. Like, if you can jog on skates, that's what she was
Yeah,
doing.
but I have a question for you. Is that the one sport that you just, like I would say, like, that you like, never really watched that much before, but, like, it's an Olympic sport that you just got invested in for this Olympics? Like, pick one sport that you were just invested in for this Olympics.
I'd say speed skating.
Yeah,
I really enjoy speed, like, just skating in general,
yeah.
and I think that the things that they're able to do and just the amount of fight you have to fight the lactic acid buildup is insane.
No, that's definitely true.
The other thing I will say is figure skating
Okay. Yeah, figure skating was actually pretty
because,
electric this year.
honestly, some of the performances that these men and women have put on have been, 1, beautiful, number 2, absolutely insane that they're able to do this stuff on skates, and their edges are just so clean and crisp, and it's just there's so much to appreciate with figure skating.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, for me, it was figure skate I think curling a little bit, but I think
Yeah, yeah.
curling's always been there. But the main one for me was bobsleigh.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched a lot of bobsleigh, whenever it was on. It was crazy, like, we were talking about this before, but, like, the equipment side of it as well.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of margin in
Yeah.
bobsleigh, and, Germany and the US have typically had a stronghold on bobsleigh, but, yeah, Ishan and I were talking about this, the fact that when it comes down to it, it's really the equipment sometimes that makes the difference that gives you an extra tenth or an extra, like, couple hundredths,
Yeah,
and
like, you
that's the difference between a
yeah,
gold and not being on the podium, to be honest.
and the thing I like about bobsleigh is it's a good thing and a bad thing where, like, soon as you start the run, it's so difficult to make up time. Like,
You can't.
like, you when you're w like, as soon as you see, like, the red for your team, like, you're 0.09 seconds behind, you're done. You're not getting first anymore.
Yeah,
You're just hoping to get that next up position and try and lose as little time as possible.
yeah.
Because bobsleigh is all about, like, just losing the least amount of time to the
It's all
person in
about
first.
perfection.
It is, it
It
is.
is. You have to take the corners perfectly. You have to have a perfect, like, push.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it's been a treat to watch the Winter Olympics. I feel like I've missed watching the Winter Olympics, and, it's just, it's just something fun that we get to experience every 4 years.
Yeah, but, you know, for this episode, what we are gonna be doing is we're filming this part of this episode right now, and then
On
we're gonna
Saturday
on
before the
Saturday,
game,
and then we're gonna
actually
be
12 hours before the game starts.
exactly, and then we're gonna give our reactions to the game
Right.
as soon as
As soon
possible
as possible.
after the game.
If they lose, I'm going to sleep and then I'll after, but,
If they win, we're gonna be
yeah,
overjoyed.
we'll record right away, but before we preview the match, I figured we'd jump into a little bit of other stuff.
Yeah.
So just a little bit on the NHL side, which will start again in 4 days, actually, which is kinda crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah. So there is some rumors that have been circulating around that some trades were discussed during the Olympic break, and as soon as the rosters unfreeze, those trades will go through.
Yeah.
A lot of talks about Mangiapane being in that mix.
I'm hoping that it'll get traded. Obviously, there was that little, speculation around the Oilers about Matt Savoie going down for the one game with the Condors, and that was to manage cap space. So I'm assuming they made at least one move to deal with that. I'm
And
hoping that it's Mangiapane.
there was also something that came out that I saw earlier in the Olympics, in the Olympic break, that none of the players that have come during, or like the players that haven't come during Stan Bowman's time could be traded. And those players include Bo Aki, Matt Savoie, and such. They could be traded.
They could be
They
traded.
could be traded. There's not really a safety because it's not somebody that Stan Bowman brought in.
I see.
It's not his top priority.
I see, okay.
Where
Interesting.
where you take the flip side, like someone like Isaac Howard, who was brought in by Stan Bowman.
He most likely wouldn't trade him.
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
But just some Canucks news. Lekkermäki is gonna undergo season-ending injury, so the Canucks will be without him for the rest of the season. And it looks like Phil Roenick will be the new captain of the Canucks.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone realistically else to lead that team.
I think you just leave it, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he's leading this team through the dark years. That's never an easy job. I don't know. I think, in my opinion, I don't understand the reason for staying in Vancouver. I think he's a good enough defenseman where he could have gone and find a contract somewhere else on a contender to try and go win a cup. But I don't see him winning a cup anytime soon.
No,
But that's to each
that's
their
a
own.
yeah,
It's your career
exactly,
choice.
exactly. And then just a little bit of Dallas news. Mikko Rantanen was out today. He did not play in the bronze medal game against Slovakia. He was out with a lower body injury. There hasn't been any other news about the injury. It's not believed to be season ending, so you can take a sigh of relief, Dallas fans. But I'm sure that he will miss a little bit of time.
Yeah, I think Dallas still has so much firepower on their
Oh,
team, so I
100%.
don't think they have to worry about it too much.
100%. Yeah. Just this last week, though, we had the opportunity to go out to Langley, to the Langley Event Center, and watch the WHL Prospect Game, which was great.
A very fun game to watch. Just like a little summary of the game. The East were up. Um, the East prospects were up most of the game. I believe it was for most of the game. Well, like there was like constant goal scoring, and then the
4-1.
4-1, and then the West came back, tied up the game to send it to overtime, and they couldn't pull off the full comeback, and the East ended up winning.
Yeah, but it was a fun atmosphere. You got to see a lot of cool prospects, such as Joe Iginla, who is the brother of Tidge Iginla, who currently plays for Utah Mammoth and is the son of Jerome Iginla, if you were unsure about that. But then they also did something cool. They brought in a couple celebrity coaches. So Michael Bublé was the celebrity coach for the West, and then Scott from Property Brothers was the celebrity coach for the East.
And they talked about like this bet that they had going
Yeah.
on, which was like Michael Bublé was supposed to, um,
Sing for Scott's mom, and
yeah,
then Scott was gonna redo his house or something
yeah, like
like
do
that.
some renovations or something.
No, but I think they made it fun for the crowd, and
It was a good game to go to.
yeah,
Langley Event Center is always fun. Before we had gone to a Vancouver Giants game, and that was also very nice. Good job.
they have a good atmosphere, and
Yeah.
they do some good work over there. But our players of the week this week are not going to be based on on points as much, but
More about just, like, being there for your team in the moment.
and contribution in the
Yeah.
moment. So for our honorable mention, we will give it to Mitch Marner, who has shown up in more ways than one for his country, and I think has elevated his game, especially with that game winner where he went 1-on-3
What a game winner,
and
though.
carved up the defense
Yeah, first, he had a game winner against Sweden at Four Nations, and then he pulls off another one of them on a bigger stage, on a much bigger stage.
against Czechia.
Yeah, but amazing goal. Honestly, I was baffled when it went in just because of how nice of a goal it was.
It was nasty. He deked hand side and went back just across the green, and it was just a nasty goal.
It was.
There's nothing else to it. I know, but he's been good on his line, and we'll get to that in a second. Do you wanna say our player of the week?
Our player of the week this week is an American,
An
and it is
American.
Quinn Hughes. The reason he's the player of the week is for two reasons. He had that game winner against Sweden, which is honestly very, very crucial. I think, Sweden's a very good team. A lot of their players are high end players that are known for scoring in overtime. Like you look at William Nylander, you look at someone who scored the game tying goal, Mika Zibanejad.
Mhm.
And then obviously they have an amazing defensive core as well with like Rasmus Dahlin, Victor Hedman. But yeah, I think Quinn Hughes has been amazing for the US. Obviously, he's a key piece that wasn't at Four Nations, and he's just stepped up and done his normal thing as probably the best defenseman in the league. And just not put the US on his back, but just kept a presence there.
Absolutely, and really been someone to lean on,
Yeah.
been a hero for the US.
He has. He
Yeah.
has.
But anyways, to this gold medal match, I think we owe it to ourselves to give a player of the match for each team, maybe, or player of the match and an honorable mention when the game does come and when we do our review of the game. But looking at it head to head, I think Canada's top two lines are better. The US's third line is better. And then Canada's fourth line is better. So you have that.
And then
Um,
looking at the defense, I think the top line for
I personally, and I hate to say this, but I think all three
three
lines
lines are better.
are
I'm
better
not
for the
even
US.
surprised by that. I think that has a big factor because of one of the key defensemen on Canada's out, which is Josh Morrissey.
Yeah.
He hasn't played a game since the group stage.
Since the first game of the I think he played one group stage game, and then the second he went out, and he hasn't come back since, and he has since been ruled out of playing in
Yeah.
tomorrow's game.
Which is, it's unfortunate, like you can think about it two ways where it's like, you know, he was out during Four Nations and
Mhm.
now he's out again and doesn't get to represent his country. Like that's all he wants to do. And then also, it's unfortunate for the people like Evan Bouchard who could be playing in these games and has not got the opportunity to.
Yeah, and there's also been some questions around the defense and how solid they've been because, in my opinion, they've frankly been garbage,
Yeah.
other than Taze and Makar.
And this may be a hot take, but I think the goaltending is equal for both teams.
I think it is a hot take. I think I would give the edge to the US.
Honestly, I on the biggest stage,
Binner,
I've
Binner
never
with that
seen Binner
Binner with
lock out,
the
bro.
Binner with that Maple Leaf is just as good as Hellebuck.
Yeah. Maybe he should go to Toronto. I don't know, cause when he has that maple leaf, when he's wearing those colors, I don't know what happens. He locks in.
There is a team that wears red. It's the Blackhawks and the Canadians.
Yeah, and the Canadians.
But there's no
And Carolina.
and Carolina, but there isn't like a team that wears this shade of.
No.
I
It's
really
it's
I
Team
really want a
Canada.
Canadian jersey.
I really want one as well. The
They're
jerseys, I think
so
they've grown on me a lot.
I really like them.
When they first came out, I was like a little bit questionable about them. I think they could have done a little bit more with them.
Yeah,
But they're simple, they're clean, and
they just scream
so good.
Canada. Canada.
Which jersey would you get if you had the choice?
If I had a choice,
White, red, or black?
I'd have to get the red, bro.
I think that makes the most sense. Honestly, I wouldn't mind the white. I really like it.
I don't think that's crazy, it's not something that I would do. They won't do it tomorrow, but I really wish that they would go red on blue.
I really wish
I
they would.
really wish they would go red on
The only
blue.
problem is the US has red in their main jerseys as well, so I'm guessing they're gonna go with, either the white or black. Most likely the white, I think.
I think they'll go. I don't know who's home tomorrow and who's away. Um, let's check that right now. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a great game tomorrow.
They're
The
still s
power play for Canada,
much
who is
better.
home,
Okay, so, they actually could go red.
they're gonna go red, and the
Yeah.
US will probably go white. Oh no, they'll go white.
You think Canada will go white?
I think Canada will go white.
Okay.
Whatever game. Oh, they haven't lost a game, so it's kinda difficult to.
No team has lost a game yet.
Yeah. No, I think the power play is better for Canada for sure.
The penalty kill, I think, is better for the US.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then just from a physicality standpoint, I think that the US has a little bit of an edge.
But the speed and I think skill on Canada is much
Is
better.
better, yeah. And there was a stat that or a post that I saw on Instagram today. It was like, who has more Conn Smites? Canada. Who has more hearts? Canada. Who has more Vesnas? The US. Surprising. Who has more Ted Lindsays? Canada. Who has more Stanley Cups? Canada. Like,
Who also has, the top 3 goal scorers and, point point leaders in
just
the league right now.
in the tournament, yeah. Canada. And yeah, in the league and in the tournament. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Well, top 2. Lucas Raymond edged out McKinnon for that 3rd place.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Lucas Raymond's at 10 points, I believe, and McKinnon's at 9.
Oh, not after tomorrow.
No, no,
Not after
not
tomorrow.
up to
What's your score prediction,
Oh,
Ishan?
McKinnon's actually at 7, and Raymond's at 9. But my score prediction, I think, I don't want this to happen, but I think it's gonna go to overtime.
I agree.
And it's gonna be so stressful, but I think it's gonna be a little bit more of a tightly actually, no. No, 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 no. It's not gonna be a goalie masterclass, 5-4 for Canada.
Uh,
And the game winner is gonna be scored I want it to be, um in my ideal world, it's gonna be scored by Celebrini.
wow. 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 Okay, okay. I'm going in a similar direction as you, but I'm going 4-3 Canada. McDavid scores the overtime winner. This is the passing of the torch officially from. There is some questions about whether Crosby and Tage Thompson will play tomorrow. I think they'll both suit up for their country. I think Crosby owes absolutely nothing to the Penguins if he gets injured in this game.
See, I think, yeah, he doesn't this is his biggest chance to do something with unless he, like, somehow gets traded to a contender, which I don't
I
know
don't
will
think will
happen,
happen
because I think he'll retire as a Penguin, but this is probably the biggest chance he's gonna get for the rest of his career to make
to
that.
play in a really, really meaningful game.
Yeah.
And I wanna see a McKinnon. Oh, it's 3-on-3 tomorrow.
No, 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 it's 5-on-5.
No, it's 3-on-3.
It's 3-on-3
Yeah, the
overtime
women
for
played 3-on-3.
Oh, right, right,
I
right.
wanna see a Makar, McKinnon, McDavid goal.
McCormick and McDavid. That would be elite.
Yeah, bro, give it to me. Give it to me because that's what we need. That's what we need. And, I'll be happy to come back tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock or whenever the game ends and say that McDavid scored the winner to send his country to the gold medal. I'm just wondering why you're saying Celebrini.
I just think it's kind of poetic that it would happen like that. And honestly, I think McDavid's yes, he's been shooting and at Four Nations he did shoot quite a bit, like around the same amount as he has been at the Olympics. But he's been feeding it to Celebrini, and I think
Yes,
Celebrini can rip it, and McDavid knows that. So
but it's gonna be
on
3
that,
on 3, so we'll see what we
yeah,
do.
I think there's an off chance that most likely McDavid and McKinnon will go together just because of the firepower that they have, and then that Marner Celebrini line didn't disappoint either. But McDavid to Celebrini could happen, or Marner to Celebrini. You
Oh,
never
yeah,
know.
that'd be kinda crazy as well.
Hmm.
But anyways, we will be back and we will fill you in on all the gritty details of what happens in this very exciting gold medal match.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Jen and I just came back from watching the game. We just got home and to be honest, very little words.
Uh, the
Um,
boys played a good.
yeah, they It was probably the best game of hockey I've ever watched in my life.
Oh, honestly, it was an amazing game from start to
Really hard
finish.
fought from both sides. You can say what you want about the refs and how the game played out. And you can say what you want about this. It's not the right format because it's 3-on-3 and not 5-on-5. But at the end of the day, that's the hand we're dealt.
That's the Olympics for
That's the
you.
game.
It's not just gonna change because it's because of NHL players are playing, like
The US did squeak out a win 2-1 in overtime. We knew it was going to overtime.
yeah, I think everyone knew it was gonna go to overtime.
The way the game shaked out, it was a very exhilarating game. Lots of chances on both ends. Canada absolutely dominated.
Canada, I think it's so bad because it's just like I think the last quarterfinal game and the semifinal game, I didn't feel confident enough that Canada deserved to win those games. It didn't feel like they did because of how well the other team played, but they deserve to win this one,
Yeah, they did.
and that's why it hurts that much more.
And I mean, you know, the US won gold. Like there's nothing more to say about that. The shots were 40-28 in favor of Canada. Boldy opened the scoring, splitting Makar and Taves.
Yeah, beautiful, like, nice goal,
Really,
really
really
nice
nice goal,
goal.
and then tucked it far side on Binnington as he was coming across. Really short side on
I believe it was
Binnington
short-sighted,
as,
yeah.
Binnington was coming across, and then they just honestly locked it down. We were talking about this at the watch party, but they played exactly like how Finland played,
Yeah,
except they had the talent to execute it well. And then at 38-16 in the game, almost at the end of the second period, Cale Makar ripped it far side, hugged the post for a beauty, and then we went scoreless in the third period. There's a couple penalties called. There's one double minor on Canada, and then the US took a penalty for high sticking as well. Both were killed, both really great chances, and Binnington and Hellebuck came up really big. And then 1 minute 41 seconds into overtime,
yeah.
Jack Hughes ended it with a botched play from your top guys.
I
Like,
think, McDavid, obviously he was looking to score there, but I think at some point you have to be a little bit more less, like, selfless there.
I think I think that and you can disagree with me or not, but during the game, Canada wasn't being selfish enough, and then in that overtime, they were being too selfish.
I think that's a very accurate.
Everybody wanted to be that guy who scored the golden goal, but, there was no golden goal.
Oh, there was, just not for our
Yeah,
team. I think this will rub salt in the wound, but we have to mention it. The MVP of the tournament was just named, and it was
Connor
Connor McDavid.
Hellebuck.
Connor McDavid
Connor McDavid was
for
the
MVP of the tournament.
and, I'm sure that, people will keep talking, "Oh, you can win all these individual accolades, but you can't."
It's just like, like, I understand, like, not everyone like, everyone loves Canada. Everyone loves being a part of this, but as an Oilers fan, it's just like
It hurts so much more.
because you look on the other side of the ice, you see Matthew Tkachuk, you see Brady Tkachuk, you see Keith Tkachuk in the crowds after they
Yeah,
win, and then you see McDavid winning the individual award
again.
again, and the big prize is not going home with him.
I know he wants I want the big prize, he wants the big prize, and, this one's gonna hurt, I think, for him.
I agree.
Especially, like, he gets to see today again because Crosby was out and nothing really to show for it.
Yeah. He's a 1 and 2 with the C right now.
He is 1 and 2, he's 50% with the C. Really not much more to say. There was definitely a few missed calls,
Yeah.
for both teams. I think definitely more missed calls on the States, but you can't blame that, we missed a lot of really great opportunities like that. The Nathan McKinnon
Wide
wide
open.
open net hits the post, that's really gonna haunt him, I
And
think.
then you look at that Devontae's wide open and Hellebuyck absolute
Robbery,
robbery. There's a couple that went off the post and
yeah,
the crossbar.
we
Yeah.
couldn't get it done today.
This is not the
This is
turnout that I
no,
expected.
this is not the storybook ending I wanted. Sitting there watching the US celebrate it, it hurt.
It didn't, I don't think it dug as deep as the
as the
Panthers
yeah,
winning,
yeah, but
but it hurt a lot.
it's not a fun one, and now, we have to go after waking up at 5 or 4:30 in the morning, gotta go, get some stuff done and
Go about our day.
yeah, but, roster unfreezes rosters unfreeze today at 9.
In an hour, we might be seeing some trades happen.
Oh, no, 9 PM,
Oh, 9 p.m.,
9
sorry.
PM, yeah, yeah.
So 12 hours, 13
Um,
hours.
so we'll see what happens. We hope you guys enjoyed the Winter Olympics. When we release this, it'll probably be about halfway through the closing ceremonies. So we hope you enjoy that. Such a treat to watch this tournament as a whole.
Yeah.
I know it didn't turn out the way that we wanted to, but
The Olympic hockey
Olympic
is
hockey was.
unmatched.
We were talking about this. We don't know how we're gonna go back to a boring old All-Star game
I
next
don't
break.
know. But yeah, like you think about how like even the NHL is setting up 4 nations for this and then how nicely this tournament turned out as well. Honestly, just amazing from both the
It's the
Olympics and
greatest
the
to see.
NHL.
It's the greatest to see. Best on best. But with that, we hope you enjoy your week. Hopefully, it's not too tainted by this loss. And NHL will resume on Thursday. So we'll have a full recap for you next week, and hopefully a look at some of the crazy trades that were made this week.
Yeah, stay tuned.